So
No.
what are some of the ways that like you focused on that piece too, and the connection of what we're eating connected to our body and our mind?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. There's so much. I had to unlearn everything I learned in school. Everything.
So
Everything was false. Everything was false. All that stuff. None of it holds. I do think having a basic understanding of what macronutrients are and key nutrients are, and all those things is helpful.
yeah,
Serving sizes, portion sizes. All those things are helpful. What if again? There's that element of mindfulness, right?
yeah,
Paying attention, listening, slowing down. Our body's going to tell us what we need. And that's what happened for me. And like you just described the best thing we can do, you already nailed on, is stop the processed stuff, the stuff that has all that stuff that's not natural, all that comfort food that I had to stop as well. I got rid of gluten too. Carbs, I've, at this point talked to so many different experts, and it's just that's one of the biggest things that can harm our body, especially as women, our glucose levels throwing us out of order, hormones. So I think that natural, but even understanding that if I'm going to have an apple for me today, I'm going to couple it with some healthy nuts, because that's going to keep my blood sugar a little more steady. And for me, I had an autoimmune disorder diagnosis of Hashimoto's.
hmm
Understanding that that's going to help me not have to drop so low, which was happening to me like at 3 or 4 in the afternoon. I'm like you, and I wanted to take my kids on a hike, and I
yeah,
couldn't make the hike. That was really a struggle for me. I'm not like that today, but I'm off gluten,
yeah,
not doing that carb loading stuff, natural foods. Get rid of the sugar,
yeah,
get rid of the sugar.
yeah.
I'm not 100% perfect, and I don't like that word. There's
None
only
of us
one thing,
yeah,
one we know. Okay.
no,
But it's like, I give myself grace to
yeah,
have things that my soul needs, and that includes dark chocolate or
yes,
dessert, because that brings joy, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. I tell people, you find whatever you need to give yourself the joy. But in overall, we do the best we can. And I think that that's really what we need to do. We move in that direction. And as a busy mom, business owner, I know that I do have to kind of sometimes modify things. Yes, I do the grass-fed meats, the organic meats, all that stuff. I believe in. I try to stay educated as much as I can. The whole vegetables, all those things, getting that in there, doing the best I can with my kids. Supplementation, if I can't get them to do things,
yeah,
smoothies.
great,
It's a big fan of that. Getting my stuff in that way.
yep,
I have stopped the coffee, although I did start drinking it again, and just this isn't feeling good. I'm not saying there's a right or wrong with that, because I
right,
think that some people's bodies can handle it. And my dream is to get a good coffee back into my body eventually, maybe chicory or whatever it is,
yeah,
because, I love coffee.
yeah, yeah.
That's
I
like,
get it. I
you
totally do
know,
too. Yeah.
so it's going to happen at some point. And so Starbucks may not be the best, but it doesn't
Ooh.
matter. I mean,
We
you know,
do.
we,
I do a mushroom coffee called. I think
okay.
it's think is what it's called, and I
Yes.
really like. It's like lion's mane mushroom based. It's really good. My husband actually gave up coffee during a fast, which was another thing I wanted to bring up with you. At the beginning of the year, and he was like a coffee fanatic. I mean, he would drink it all day long, and yet he would say that it didn't affect him, and he could drink it right before he goes to sleep, but it really
Mhm.
was affecting him. He just said it wasn't affecting him, and so we went on this 3-day water fast, and he basically crashed during it. I mean, he was like throwing up. He was having body shakes. He was having to take hot baths during the day. And we just thought he was extended from a sickness that he had had the week before. And he realized that it was that, like, essentially, well, he also took all of his supplements on an empty stomach, which doesn't help.
Oh,
And so, but he's like, I always have it on an empty stomach. And I'm like, nah, you usually have milk. Like a latte has a lot of not empty
yeah.
inside of it, right? So he lost like 10 pounds in about a week's time frame just
Oh,
from not having lattes all day. Imagine that. It's all the milk, right?
yeah.
And so it's interesting to see when you take that pause, and it didn't have anything to do with movement. It was just a fast. And so what is your encouragement? Because we're about to go into a new fasting cycle here again. The Lord had us start our year that way, and he inspired us through it, that the first of every month, we're going to do a 24-hour water fast. It's going to be a 3-day fast, but I found out that you can't do 3-day water fasts as women that often, because it can mess up your menopausal kind of hormone levels. So 24-hour water fast, but we're going to do 3 days of some other things in the process. Have you ever encouraged that to be kind of that like, let's re-engage after we do this fast so that you can kind of really monitor what your body does and doesn't like versus what your mind thinks you need?
Yeah, I would think there's power in doing some type of fast or detoxification for the body, and naturally I had to do that just with the Hashimoto's, let go of a lot of things.
Yeah.
And talking to different functional nutritionists and doctors today, that there is that recommendation of not giving our body any nourishment for 12 hours, and that can be done for some people while they sleep.
Yeah,
Okay,
for sure.
so I think it's knowing what works for you as an individual, and also because there can be other medical issues going on with
Sure.
people, honoring that piece too, making sure that it is safe,
Sure.
and because there can be repercussions with different types of fasting for different types of issues going on in our body. So,
Completely.
like, just knowing, checking with your doctor, for example, that you trust, or somebody that, saying, okay, this is okay. This is what would be the best advice I could say for that. But getting rid of all that stuff. I get what you said about the coffee, because when I stopped drinking that, it was like your body naturally, it's like, it's
Yeah.
detoxing. It's getting rid of. There's a lot of things I think that I would like to do that. Actually, that's one of my checklists. And I'm glad you mentioned that. Coming up is like a week long detox or something
Yeah.
myself, just to kind of
Yeah.
get a gauge. Okay, what am I not needing? How's this going to help me? I think that
Yeah.
there's power in that for sure.
Yeah, we even invited our kids in to do it during the month of January. We did a sugar fast with them because, of course, after the holidays, you're like, all the cookies, all the things are like right in your face 24/7. Everything has a cupcake or a cookie or a pie or something. And so I was like, guys, we're going to do a 31-day sugar fast. And they were not excited about it, obviously. But at the same time, what I found about week 2, we would get new fruits or just, go grocery shopping. And they were like just enjoying the sugar of a fruit, natural sugar. And they were like, this is so good. I'm like, isn't that interesting that you can actually enjoy the natural sugar that's being given to you versus needing to crave a brownie or a cupcake or whatever is happening. So they're very excited because we're taking them out for some vegan sweets on Wednesday at the end of their fast. But I just think exposing our children to these kinds of conversations sooner rather than later, so we aren't 40 years old feeling like, I've never been taught any of this. And so it's something I'm really passionate about. And I love that it was a connection point for you from the beginning of your story all the way to how you're training up people now.